This year, I stayed silent and discovered my incredible villa, my family's forgotten gift revealed. In the dim light of her cramped living room, Sam Thompson clutched an old leather-bound letter she had just unearthed from her late grandmother's belongings. Her heart raced, every thud echoing her hopes and fears, as she read the words that changed everything. A villa, it said. Our family estate long abandoned. The weight of generations pressed heavily on her shoulders. For years she had toiled as a waitress, her hands worn and calloused from serving others. All the while, she had quietly battled feelings of not being good enough, haunted by her grandmother's legacy and family expectations. "Mom, I finished my homework." Her son Jake called from the kitchen. Sam blinked back tears. "That's great, honey," she replied, her throat tight. Her children, Jake and Lily, deserved a better life, a life free from financial struggle and societal judgment. Was it too much to hope for? That evening, with the letter shaking in her hands, she felt a flicker of possibility ignite in her chest. As the days passed, whispers of her discovery began to swirl through the small town of Maplewood. The familiar faces at the diner exchanged knowing glances while they sipped their coffee. "Did you hear about Sam? A villa?" came the hushed murmurs. She could almost feel their skepticism, their doubts wrapping around her like a thick fog. But deep down, driven by the desire to improve her family's legacy, she resolved to reclaim her past. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Sam embarked on her quest to find the villa, her estranged relatives caught wind of her plans. The air pulsed with unspoken tensions as they gathered, drawn together by the promise of inheritance that time had buried deep. When they met, the fiery reunion unveiled a tapestry of resentment and disappointment. "You think you can just waltz in and claim what's ours?" her cousin snarled, anger swirling in the room like wildfire. But Sam stood her ground, shaking slightly yet fiercely determined. "I'm not here to take anything. I want to bring us together." Inside that old letter, she now held more than just a piece of paper. It was a key to healing old wounds within her fractured family. Sam envisioned the villa as a place where they could finally reconnect, a place for laughter and forgiveness. Yet as her heart raced with excitement, doubt loomed just as large. Could she bridge the gap between the weight of her family's history and her aspirations for the future? The landscape of her life shifted once again as she continued questioning herself. Would she find strength in her family's history to pave a new path for herself and her children? Or would this journey be just another reminder of her inherent limitations? The air vibrated with the possibility of transformation, and Sam's journey was only just beginning. Sam awoke the next morning to a thick blanket of fog that hugged Maplewood. The world felt muted, swallowed whole by the gray. With her heart still heavy from the previous night's confrontation, she held onto the letter, clutching it tightly as if it could shield her from the uncertainty ahead. Was she truly ready for what lay before her? The villa was located just outside of town, a place her grandmother often talked about, filled with tales of laughter and warmth. Now, as Sam drove along the winding road, anticipation bubbled within her. Would it still hold remnants of those cherished memories? Squeezing her eyes shut for a brief moment, she tried to picture it: blooming flowers in vibrant colors, sun-drenched rooms, and the laughter of family ringing through the halls. Arriving at the vast gates, evidence of years of neglect struck her like a punch to the gut. Vines snaked up the wrought iron, and the once proud entrance was a shadow of its former self. A shiver ran down her spine, yet she stepped out of her worn car, determination rising to the forefront. This was her family's history, and it was time to move past the decay and embrace the promise of new beginnings. Pushing open the gate, she entered and took a deep breath, the air thick with the smell of moss and damp wood. Every step forward felt heavy, like lifting stones from a riverbed. Memories of her grandmother flickered in her mind. She could almost hear her laughter echoing among these walls. Sam's hands trembled as she reached for the doorknob, her heart racing steadily in tandem. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit foyer where dust danced in the filtered sunlight. Old portraits hung crookedly on the walls. The eyes of her ancestors now watched her every move. Sam felt their weight, the collective history of sacrifices and heartache that had brought her to this moment. "Hello," she called softly, the word trembling in the cavernous silence. It hung there unanswered, yet somehow filled the void with potential. That was when she noticed a white envelope resting atop a cluttered table. With apprehension threading through her veins, Sam opened it. Inside, a familiar handwriting leaped out, her grandmother's. "Dear Sam, if you're reading this, it means you have found the villa. Know this family is complicated, but it is also beautiful. This place holds the scars and joys of our lives. Embrace it with love, and you might yet find more than you ever expected." Tears pooled in Sam's eyes. With a spark of hope ignited by her grandmother's words, she realized that the villa wasn't just a relic of the past. It could be a canvas for their future. Outside, the sun began to break through the fog, casting a warm glow over the estate. Sam took a deep breath, the air feeling buoyant with new possibilities. She could hear voices in the distant family she'd never felt connected to, stirring and uncertain just as she was. Could they truly come together to breathe new life into this place? Or would the past choke the life out of their shared dream? With her heart pounding, she stepped deeper into the shadows of the villa, ready to confront the history that waited, both terrifying and thrilling. Just then, a loud voice echoed from outside, startling her. "What are you doing here?" A deep frown creased her cousin's face, as if he had emerged straight from her worst fears. The tension between them palpable, Sam steadied herself. The moment of truth was here, and she needed to fight for her family's future, even if it meant facing the very essence of her past. What would happen next? Sam's heart thumped loudly in her chest as she stood frozen, trying to decipher the sudden shift in the atmosphere. Her cousin Mark loomed in the doorway, arms crossed, his sharp gaze cutting through her like ice. The emotion swirling inside her felt like a storm, a tumultuous mix of anger, fear, and a flicker of determination. "What are you doing here?" he repeated, voice edged with disbelief. I came to check on the villa," she managed to respond, her voice steadier than she felt. "This place was my grandmother's. I want to understand our family's history." Mark's expression softened just a fraction, but it was enough to catch her attention. "You think it just magically fixes everything? This place is a mess." His frustration spilled out, tinged with a longing she hadn't expected to see in him. "I know it's in disrepair, but it can be beautiful again," she countered, taking a step forward, feeling the bravery swell in her heart. "Our family deserves that, don't you think?" For a moment, silence enveloped them like the fog outside. He studied her, and she could almost hear the gears turning in his mind. She continued, "I found a letter from Grandma. She believed there was something worth saving here, something worth fighting for." The mention of their grandmother tugged at something within Mark. His harsh facade ebbed slightly, replaced by a flicker of nostalgia. "You really think we can fix this place up? You realize they all left, right? It's just memories." His voice quieted, revealing the hurt underneath. "It's also potential," she exclaimed. "I truly believe that we can honor what they built here. We have to try. Try? It's easy for you to say. You haven't had to deal with." He stopped, shaking his head. "Look, it's not that simple. If it isn't that simple, then let's make it simpler together," she urged. "Maybe this is our chance to connect, to heal. We can start fresh." Mark's shoulders drooped, the muscles tense with unresolved emotion. He glanced back at the villa, an old enemy rendered soft by memories. "What do you want me to do?" A wave of relief washed over Sam. "Help me. Let us talk to the rest of the family. Let us see if we can come together to breathe life back into this place. They need to know that it's possible. Why should they care?" He shot back, though the fire in his voice had cooled. "They might if they see us trying, if we show them it's worth it." Sam leaned into the moment, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can either let the past define us, or we can shape the future together." The tension in Mark's face flickered like a dying ember, the potential for a spark still there. "What if we fail?" Her heart ached at the uncertainty underlying his question. "Then at least we tried. We won't know unless we take that first step." As the sun broke through the clouds, illuminating the dusty corners of the foyer, hope filled her lungs. Confidence surged through her veins. It was a small victory, But the battle was just beginning. Let us talk to them, Mark finally conceded, voice low. Thank you, Sam replied, her pulse racing. She could almost hear the echoes of laughter and joy resounding through the villa's walls once more. But as they stepped outside together, a sudden rustle in the bushes caught Sam's attention. What was that? She asked, instinctively pulling Mark back as her eyes narrowed on the movement. Before they could process what it was, a figure emerged from the foliage, gasping as wounds etched into their skin became visible in the sun. Mark and Sam exchanged stunned glances. Help me, the figure rasped, collapsing at their feet. Who was it? And what had happened? Sam knelt beside the figure, her heart pounding. The sunlight caught the sheen of blood across the stranger's skin, making each wound look like a dark plea for help. Mark's breath hitched, his earlier resolve crumbling under the weight of this new reality. Who are you? Sam asked, trying to keep her voice steady, fighting the primal urge to flee. The figure raised their head just enough to reveal a pair of haunted eyes. I'm Daniel. I didn't mean to scare you. I need help. With that, his body sagged as he struggled to speak. Help him, Mark. Sam urged, already ripping off her jacket to use as a makeshift bandage. Her instincts kicked in, fueled by the lingering adrenaline of their previous conversation. What happened to you? Attacked? Daniel gasped between labored breaths. There was something in the woods. I thought it was just a deer, but it wasn't. His words trailed off, leaving a chilling silence. Mark hesitated, glancing at Sam, his eyes searching hers for reassurance. Should we really help him? He whispered, doubt creeping in again. What if this is a trap? We can't leave him like this. He needs us. Sam moved closer to Daniel, feeling a swell of sympathy for his pain. You're going to be okay, she promised, but the tremor in her voice revealed her fear. Please. There's no time. Daniel winced, his hand clutching a deep gash on his arm. The others, they're in danger. I tried to warn them, but I was too late. Others? Mark asked, brow furrowed with concern. What do you mean? Daniel's eyes flickered with urgency. The forest holds secrets like the villa. It's alive. It wants to protect itself, but it doesn't show mercy. It attacked when I stumbled too close. The weight of his words pressed heavily on Sam. But we're here to fix the villa, to honor our family's legacy. How could a place we love be? Her voice faltered. How could it be dangerous? Some things are better left buried, Daniel whispered, his voice hoarse. I thought I could uncover the truth, but the truth could tear you apart. Trust me. Mark shifted uneasily, casting a nervous glance towards the tree line looming behind them. How do we help you? Where are the others? They're at the old hunting cabin, he managed to say, wincing with every movement. We must hurry. They need. Before he could finish, a low growl echoed from the depths of the trees. Sam froze, her instincts flaring. The air thickened with an electric tension, and she exchanged a panicked look with Mark. What was that? Daniel's face blanched. It's coming for me. You have to decide. This villa, your family, it holds powers you cannot understand. Mark stepped back, uncertainty mirrored in his eyes. What do you mean, powers? We have to save you first. We can't leave him. Sam's voice rose in desperation. She felt the pull of her family's history, the weight of every sacrifice that led them to this moment. You don't understand, Daniel rasped, struggling to lift his head once more, desperation lacing his tone. If it finds me, it will find you too. A rustling in the underbrush grew louder, the shadows shifting like something alive. Run! Sam screamed, but as she pulled Mark away, a dark figure emerged from the trees, its eyes glowing with an ancient rage. What was hunting Daniel? And did they have the courage to face whatever darkness lay ahead? The ground beneath them felt charged, as if the very earth was holding its breath. Daniel's eyes darted towards the encroaching darkness, fear flashing across his face. Sam's heart raced, a mix of adrenaline and dread fueling her urgency. We have to get him out of here, she shouted to Mark, tugging at Daniel's shoulder to lift him. Wait! Mark's voice cut through her. What if it's too dangerous? We don't know what's out there. The growl deepened, vibrating in Sam's chest. We don't have a choice. Help me. She felt the weight of Daniel resting against her, every wince echoing back her own fear. With a firm grip, she pulled him upright, his other arm slinging around her shoulder. You're stronger than you think, Daniel managed to whisper, a flicker of gratitude breaking into his pain-ridden haze. Sam focused on that small spark, using it to push through the rising panic. Together they stumbled towards the tree line, Mark hovering close, every step echoing the tension in the air. Shadows crept along the forest floor, each snap of a branch or rustle of leaves electrifying the atmosphere. Just keep moving, Mark urged, his eyes scanning the darkness as if he could spot their pursuer. Do you hear that? Daniel's voice was barely above a whisper, but it was laced with urgency. It's getting closer, you must trust me. A sudden crack split the air. They all froze, the sound seeming to resonate within the hollow of their chests. Mark glanced back over his shoulder, eyes wide, breathless. What do we do? Stay close. I know a path. Daniel struggled to concentrate, his breath ragged and shallow. Follow my lead. Trust me. With an unsteady nod from Mark, they hurried into the dense undergrowth, branches scratching at them as they pushed through. The sun filtered through the trees, casting fleeting patterns on the forest ground, but moon's shadows loomed more ominously than any light offered. Daniel led them deeper into the thicket, weaving a frantic course between trees and fallen logs. It's a small cabin, it's safer there. He panted, each word a labor. The beat of their footsteps was the only sound against the haunting echoes that followed. Suddenly Daniel faltered, sinking to one knee. The urgency of escape was now mixed with desperation. I can't go any further, he gasped, clutching his arm as if trying to will the pain away. Sam felt a surge of frustration. They needed to keep moving. But looking at Daniel's face, she saw raw vulnerability. You have to, Mark pleaded, eyes darting back toward the looming shadows. If you want to help us, you need to keep going. I can't. Daniel's voice was heavy, the weight of his revelation settling in. The darkness has a grip on this place, on me. Just then, another growl pierced the silence, sharper, closer. It was a sound that cut through panic and awakened pure terror. Get up. We can't let it catch us, Sam shouted, pulling Daniel up with all her strength. In that moment hope clashed with fear, leaving Sam breathless. You have to fight this, she urged, her heart pounding for them all. Daniel looked into her eyes, as if he could tap into her conviction. Okay, I'll try, he managed, and they began to move again, though not fast enough. Each step felt like they were sinking deeper into danger. But what they didn't know was that they were not just running from something, they were jumping into a web of secrets that was lying just ahead. The cabin loomed in the distance, barely visible beneath the heavy canopy. Would they make it? Sam's mind buzzed with questions, and an overwhelming sense of urgency rooted them in fear. Then, just as they broke through the last line of trees, the shape of the cabin revealed itself. But something else was lurking, and it was waiting for them. Could they unlock the cabin's secrets before it was too late? They lunged towards the cabin, the wooden structure looking both a beacon of safety and a sinister shadow at the same time. The door hung ajar, swaying slightly in the cool breeze, as if inviting them in or warning them to stay away. Go, Sam shouted, her voice breaking through the mounting fear. She shoved Daniel forward, urging him toward the creaking entrance. Mark rushed past, his instincts kicking in. The growl echoed again, closer, hotter. Inside, the light was dim, filtered through dirty windows. Dust hung in the air like a fading memory. Sam's heart raced as she turned, checking their surroundings. The cabin felt frozen in time, cluttered with old furniture and cobwebs, holding secrets beneath its surface. Daniel, can you stand? Sam asked, kneeling beside him as he leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. His face glistened with sweat, and she could see the shadows of doubt clawing at him. I think so, he managed, but as he shifted slightly, pain shot across his features. Mark, grab that chair, Sam directed, urgency propelling her words. Mark rushed to obey, positioning the rickety old chair behind Daniel, who slowly slid down into it. But a noise from outside made her turn sharply. A heavy thud resonated against the door, the wood trembling with the impact. Sam exchanged a look with Mark, fear tightening around them. We need to lock it, she whispered urgently, scrambling toward the door. I can't let it in. Daniel's voice was strained, filled with panic. It before he could finish. Another punctuating crash sent tremors through the walls. Sam hurled the door shut and fumbled for the latch, her hands trembling as she slammed it home. I locked it, she shouted, half to reassure Daniel, half to quell the dread climbing her throat. "Good," Mark said, voice tight. "Now what?" "I don't know," Sam shouted back, feeling the weight of despair creeping in. They had just escaped one danger, but now found themselves trapped in another. Daniel's breathing became more erratic. "It's angry. The darkness, it knows we're here," he stuttered, raising his eyes to meet Sam's. "You have to listen to me, it's attracted to fear, that's its power." "Okay, all right," Sam replied, forcing her heart to calm. "What do we do?" Suddenly, the shadows in the cabin darkened even more, as if they grew more tangible. Mark's eyes darted around the room. "We have to find something, anything, to defend ourselves," he said, urgency weaving his words. "Over there." Sam pointed to a corner where old tools lay scattered. A rusty axe leaned precariously close to a pile of broken shelves. With a determined nod, Mark rushed towards it, eyes wide with focus. As he grabbed the axe, the shadows swirled, pulsing against the walls like living things. Daniel began to tremble in his chair, the grip of dread tightening its hold on him. "No," he whispered. "It's too late, don't say that," Sam urged, rushing to his side. "You have to fight. We're going to get through this together. Do you even know what you're up against?" Daniel's voice quavered. "This isn't just a creature. It's connected to me, my family, it's a part of this place." A cold chill sank into Sam, the air thickening with secrets yet to be unveiled. Mark raised the axe above his head, his body coiled with tension, ready to strike at the unseen threat. "You let it take you once," Daniel continued, anguish lacing his voice. "Don't let it take you again." Sam looked from Daniel to Mark, her heart pounding louder than the growls outside. "What does that mean? What do we do?" Mark tore his gaze from the door, fear sparking in his eyes. "We can't let it in," he said fiercely. "We have to face it, and if it's connected to your past, Daniel, we need to unveil that truth. Now." The growling outside intensified, punctuated by the sound of claws scraping against wood. With the cabin trembling under the pressure, they were on the threshold of revelation or extinction. Would they unveil Daniel's secrets in time? Or would the darkness consume them all? The cabin trembled again, the growls outside morphing into an almost melodic whisper, tugging at the corners of their minds. Sam felt the shadows pressing in on them, cold and heavy, laced with the weight of unresolved mysteries. The acrid scent of decay hung in the air, a stark reminder of their precarious situation. "Daniel," she said softly, panic giving way to a quiet resolve. "What do we need to know? You have to tell us now." She could hear the fear in her own voice, a shaky breath that mirrored what they all felt. Daniel's eyes darted around, scanning the dim corners of the cabin. "The darkness, it feeds on regret and fear," he whispered. His hands clenched on the armrests of the chair, knuckles turning white. "It was drawn to my family because we didn't face what we should have. We buried our secrets, and now they're coming back to haunt us." Mark shifted nervously, gripping the axe tightly. "What kind of secrets?" "Family curses, lost souls, guilt trapped in this place." Daniel's voice dropped, haunted by the weight of the past. "We thought we could leave it behind, but we're too close to it now." Sam's heart raced as she took a step closer, feeling an odd connection to the air around them. "This darkness, did it take someone from you?" Daniel nodded, tears pooling in his eyes. "My sister. She got too close to the shadows and we let her go. We didn't even search." The wind howled outside, and the shadows seemed to dance in frenzy. Mark's grip on the axe wielded a desperate kind of anger. "We need to fight it. We can't let it take anyone else." "But how do we face something so powerful?" Sam finished, her voice steadying. "Maybe we don't fight it. Maybe we confront it, bring the truth out into the light. It thrives on the darkness we keep hidden." "Yes," Daniel exclaimed, sudden clarity shining in his eyes. "If we face the pain, the truth, it loses its power." Just as the words left his lips, a sharp crack echoed through the cabin. The front door buckled under the relentless force of the creature outside, sending splinters flying across the room. Sam's heart dropped as she took a step back. "Get ready," Mark yelled, positioning himself, brandishing the axe. In that moment of impending chaos, the shadows began to twist and swirl, morphing into forms that reminded them of lost moments, faces of happiness and sorrow intertwined, memories long buried. Sam could almost hear whispers in the confusion. "You have to face it," Daniel shouted, urgency flooding his voice. Show it you're not afraid. Call for what you lost. Daniel. Sam turned to him in shock. What if it listens to you? What if it knows? It does. His voice was raw, trembling with the weight of unspoken emotion. This darkness is my family's burden. I'll call for her, then it may retreat. With a deep breath, Daniel called out, his voice breaking through the chaos. Clara. If you're here, I need you to show yourself. You don't belong to it. The room plunged into silence, the shadows falling still. For a moment all they felt was breath, steady but heavy. Then suddenly a figure appeared, a flickering outline of a girl, caught between worlds. Daniel, the voice echoed, soft yet filled with pain. I couldn't leave. Horror and hope intertwined in Sam's chest as Daniel advanced, determination clinging to his heart. Clara, we're going to bring you back. You have to fight it. The shadows surged forward, a wave of darkness clawing for their souls, but the figure wavered, battling the dark with luminous energy. Could Daniel's voice break the grip of the shadows? Would Clara find her strength to return, or would they all be lost to the consuming dark? The darkness roared, a cacophony of despair that surged toward Clara, threatening to drag her back into its suffocating embrace. Sam's pulse raced as she watched Daniel reach for his sister, his fingers nearly brushing the ethereal glow that flickered around her. Clara! He cried again, his voice rising above the chaos. You are not lost. Fight it. Remember who you were. The shadows twisted with rage, growing bolder as Clara faltered. Her shape wavered, flickering like a candle flame about to be snuffed out. Sam felt the air grow thicker, each breath laced with fear as the darkness pulsed, hungry for despair. Think of the moments you loved, Clara. Sam urged, her voice shaking but resolute. The laughter. The warmth, don't let it take you from us. Mark stood firm, axe held like a shield, ready to defend against the encroaching tide. We can't let it win. He yelled, his eyes wide with determination. You're stronger than it. Remember your family. With each word spoken, Clara's form pulsed brighter, the shadows edging back as if stung by their conviction. I remember. She whispered, her voice trembling. Good. Daniel stepped closer, drawing upon every ounce of love and hope he had. Your spirit is stronger than this darkness. You belong with us. The shadows hissed, a cold breeze wrapping around Sam's ankles, pulling at her like fingers grasping to drag her into the abyss. She could feel the despair nipping at her heels, trying to twist her thoughts. Stay focused. She could almost hear the chant of doubt echoing in her mind. They don't want you, Clara. They want your fear. Sam yelled, rallying her courage. Face it. You're surrounded by love. Clara's shimmering outline flickered as if caught between worlds. I don't know how. Let us help you. Mark shouted, shifting his stance. We're right here. All of us. In a moment of collective strength, Sam, Daniel and Mark raised their hands like a united front against the darkness. It was a simple gesture, but it felt monumental, like lifting the weight of a heavy burden. Clara, take our light. Sam called out, feeling the warmth in her chest swell. A beacon for Clara to find her way home. The shadows recoiled, hissing loudly, as if their very essence was being burned. Clara looked at them, the flicker of recognition igniting the hope in her eyes. I'm scared, she admitted, vulnerability leaking into her voice. I know, Daniel said, tears streaming down his face. But we're here. You are not alone. I won't let you go again. Clara's voice rose, resonating with newfound power. With a surge of brightness, she pushed against the darkness. The shadows howled in protest, swirling like a tempest at the edges of her radiance, but Clara's light began to cut through, shrouding them in clarity. Together they whispered in unison, the three of them pulling Clara toward the light. The room trembled again, warping around them as the struggle intensified. Just as Clara stepped closer, the very fabric of reality seemed to strain, dragging her spirit back and forth. Was this what held them all captive? The struggle between light and dark? In that moment, as the atmosphere crackled with energy, a chilling voice rose from the shadows, malevolent and powerful. You think you can reclaim what is lost? You have no idea what you are meddling with. All three of them shivered as the dark figure loomed, imposing and threatening, a manifestation of every fear they had ever battled. Their hearts hammered in their chests. Sam felt a bond forming between them, an incandescent thread of shared defiance. We are here. she shouted, their voices echoing as one against the darkness. But would their combined strength be enough to break the hold of this entity? Or would the shadows claim Clara and the rest of them, extinguishing the flicker of hope? The darkness shrieked, its voice sharp like glass cutting through the air. Sam felt a shudder pass through her. She glanced at Daniel and Mark, their expressions locked in fierce determination. Clara was close, so close, and yet the shadows seemed to thicken around her, coiling like snakes, desperate to pull her back into the void. "Don't give up, Clara," Daniel shouted, his voice a beacon against the shadowy din. "You are stronger than this." Clara's eyes flickered, caught in a battle of their own fear against the light of love. The shadows slithered around her, but her glow began to strengthen, fueled by the intensity of their connection. Sam's heart swelled with hope, yet she could feel the weight of despair trying to drag them down. "Think about Mom and Dad," Sam cried, remembering the warmth of home, those simple moments filled with laughter and love. "Think about family vacations, birthday parties, all the moments that made life beautiful." The words rang in the stillness, echoing against the chaos. Clara's light shimmered, pulsing with every positive thought ignited by their memories. "Hold on to that," Mark added, his voice steady as he brandished his axe, not as a weapon but a symbol of protection. "You are fighting for us, for everything that matters." With a deep breath, Clara focused, her spirit brightening. It was as if she could hear their shared heartbeat, rhythmically linking them together. The encroaching shadows surged forward, howling like hungry wolves. Sam felt her gut churn with fear but pushed it aside. "Clara," she called out, her voice resonating with raw emotion. "You were never lost, you are loved." Suddenly the dark figure morphed, twisting into a grotesque version of Clara's face. "What do they know of you?" it crooned, a sickly sweet voice layered with malevolence. "They can't save you. You are nothing." "Shut up," Daniel yelled, stepping protectively in front of Sam and Mark. "You don't get to say that. Clara, don't listen to it." Clara winced. The shadows clawed at her brightness, yet she steeled herself. "I am more than my fears," she shouted, her voice trembling but strong. "I won't let you win." The dark figure blinked at this declaration, momentarily faltering. For a heartbeat the shadows wavered, swirling back like an ocean tide receding. Hope surged through Mark, Sam, and Daniel. They clenched each other's hands tighter, forming an unwavering circle of light. "Feel our strength, Clara," they all shouted together, their united voices becoming a chant, a rhythm pulsing through the very air around them. "We are with you." With a fierce resolve, Clara reached out, bridging the divide. The luminous energy emanating from her enveloped the darkness, cutting through it like sunlight piercing through a storm. Colors burst forth from her light, bright and vibrant, each hue representing a cherished memory, a laugh shared, a tear shed. "I'm not afraid anymore," Clara cried defiantly, the shadows recoiling as if burned. The dark entity twitched, the malevolent visage warping under the power of Clara's light. But just when it seemed the tide was turning, the darkness coalesced into a colossal figure, towering and unyielding. It roared in a voice that chilled their bones. "You think this is over? I will always be here, lurking, waiting." "Not if we fight back," Daniel countered, every word a blade of conviction. It seemed the shadows shivered at his challenge, uncertainty creeping into the monstrous formation. As the battle intensified, Sam realized a truth blooming in her heart. This was more than just Clara's fight, it was theirs too. Each of them carried a piece of light, and together, they were stronger than the shadows that threatened to tear them apart. But would this newfound unity be enough to banish the darkness once and for all? Or was this merely the beginning of a deeper struggle that awaited them? Sam clenched her fists, her determination steeling against the storm ahead, knowing that they had to keep pushing through this together. The shadows continued to surge and wail, but Clara stood firm, her light a radiant beacon against darkness. It pulsed stronger with each heartbeat, drawing energy from their collective memories, hopes, and love. The figure, now morphing into grotesque shapes, seemed to hesitate, faltering under the weight of their shared defiance. "Keep pushing," Sam yelled, feeling the surge of courage enveloping them. "Clara, we won't abandon you. Just focus on the love we share. Remember the laughter, the warmth." Daniel squeezed Clara's hand tighter, pouring every ounce of emotion into his words. "We're all in this together." You have to remember who you are. I remember Clara's voice quivered, yet strength emerged within her. I remember the stories, the family dinners, the joy we created. I won't let you take that from me. With that declaration, Clara's glow ignited wildly, transforming the cabin beyond recognition. Shadows recoiled, the walls brightening into vibrant colors that flooded the space. The dark figure shrieked, sinking back into the depths, but it was not finished yet. You think love can defeat me? It boomed, a sound like thunder. I'm rooted deeper than that. Your love will twist and turn until it suffocates. Not if we face you together. Sam shouted defiantly, drawing on the warmth of their bond. We are stronger than our fears. Mark brandished the axe, breathing deeply, feeling empowered by their unity. If we stand as one, we can conquer this darkness. He stepped forward, his heart pounding with resolve. Together. Clara echoed, her voice rising above the chaos. My love is not weak, it's powerful. I'll stand with them. The moment those words left her lips, Clara's light amplified, incandescent and fierce. It blurred around the dark figure, wrapping it in a radiant embrace. The shadows shrieked, this time retreating in true distress, losing their grasp on the cabin. Feel it, Sam called, heart racing as bursts of light translated into warmth flowing through them. This is our healing. We can break the cycle together. The shadows writhed violently, but their grip weakened, squirming against the insatiable light of love. Clara stepped forward, breaking free from the inner turmoil that had once confined her. I choose to be free, she declared, embodying strength that pulsed in harmony with all of them. We choose love, Daniel shouted, determination echoing in his voice. Sam felt her heart beating louder, each thud a testament to their connection. Let go of your fear, she urged, and the figures of once lost family memories began to swirl around them, drawing strength from each embrace shared. The darkness cracked, shattering into a shower of shadows as Clara's essence penetrated deeply, healing the rifts of despair. Sam lifted her hands, entwining her fingers with Daniel and Mark, each radiating courage as Clara's light ignited their spirits. It may have been just words, but they felt like swords against the darkness. Each whisper was fortified through their resolve. No more, Clara shouted, her voice resonating with unyielding power. You can't bind me. I'm free. I am love and I am light. And then boom, the shadows exploded, cascading into vast rays of light that flooded the cabin. The growls dissipated into echoes, replaced by a triumphant silence. They stood, hearts racing, breathing in the now transformed air. The cabin was no longer just a relic of family pain. It had morphed into a sanctuary of light and hope. Clara! Daniel rushed forward, enveloping the shimmering figure of his sister in his arms, tears running freely down both their faces. Sam caught her breath, feeling uncertainty fade away, replaced by unyielding joy and gratitude. You did it, Mark exclaimed, wrapping them all in a warm embrace. We did it. Clara smiled radiantly, the glow around her flickering softly now. Thank you. You brought me home. Sam felt a wave of warmth wash over them all, a sense of belonging that obliterated any residual pain. The shadows had been vanquished, but more importantly, they had faced their fears, turned grief into healing, and written a new chapter in their family legacy. Together they stepped out of the cabin, the sunlight trickling in like a gentle promise. The woods were now alive with color, flowers blooming vibrant against the verdant greens. Angela could barely believe it. Her heart swelled with hope for the future. They could rebuild together. As they walked back to the villa, a new determination washed over her. It wouldn't just be a reclaiming of property. It would be a restoration of family and love, a cherished place where laughter echoed once again. With each step forward, she felt lighter, liberated from the shadows of the past. This was the beginning, and they would continue to forge their path together. Now more than ever, she felt the urgency to share this transformation not only with her family, but with everyone around them. So don't forget, you need to subscribe now to hold on to this incredible journey. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and uplift these stories. I want to hear your reactions and feelings. Comment below, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your support is what keeps these stories alive.